What's going on, guys? Elevate DFS here, bringing you guys another Draftkings pick video. Last week we crushed it, putting up like a 165 or 160 with our cash lineup. I don't remember. I gave you guys one of my quarterback last week was Carson Wentz, very low owned, and he crushed it, putting up I believe 25 Draftkings points. So and the rest of the lineup, like I said, killed it. So let's do it again this week. This week we got a 12-game slate. We got some high totals, such as Pittsburgh and Cincinnati has 54.5 over under. Tampa Bay, Atlanta 57 over under, which is probably what everyone's gonna be targeting. And then Rams and Denver is at 52.5. So I'm gonna be going through my picks. Let's get through the quarterbacks. Like I said, 57 point total. Tampa Bay, Atlanta 6,800. We got Matt Ryan. I don't think I'm gonna be on Matt Ryan, even though I think he's a great play. You know, look at his last 4 games, and the week I had him, I believe was actually no, I had him like the last 3 weeks. But Pittsburgh, he did not put up a good game, having 15.4 DraftKings points. But if you overlook those, going against Cincinnati, the Saints, and the Panthers, his last 4 games have not been good defenses, and I don't think Tampa Bay is a good defense either. So I could see him going from anywhere to like I think 20 to 30, 20 to 35. I think he'll get you those points if you want to pay up a quarterback. We got Kirk Cousins going against Arizona. I won't be on him at all. Then we got Ben going against the Bengals, which is the second highest total on the slate. I won't really be on Ben this week at 6,500. Watson, Dalton. I think Dalton is a good play this week at 6,300 going against the Steelers. The Steelers have a good run defense. I expect the Bengals to be down. Not down, but I expect it to be a close game where they're going to be passing the ball. I don't expect them to run that ball that much. I expect them to run it, but I think Steelers' run defense is very good. So I think if they want to beat them, they got to pass the ball. Andy Dalton in his last 4 games put up 26, 21, 28, and 14. I mean, kind of inconsistent. The first 3 weeks were pretty consistent. Then he put up 13, much like Matt Ryan. And week 1 he put up 17 against Indianapolis. So I think Andy Dalton could have a big game this week. Andy Luck, I'm not going to be on this week, going against the Jets defense, which is a defense I like. I'll get through that later. Cam Newton, Washington. I'm an Eagles fan. Washington's not a good team. You saw what Drew Brees and the Saints did to him. I'm the primetime game. Jared Goff is a quarterback that I like here, going against Denver. I think Jared Goff might get looked over this week, but he's having an MVP season. He's throwing for 1,700 yards, 12 TDs, and 4 interceptions. He's put up numbers in every week pretty much, except maybe Oakland in the last week, but those were still decent games. Week 4 against Minnesota, which is a very good defense, he was priced at 5,700, put up 42 DraftKings points. Then going against the Chargers, which should be another shootout, he put up 30 DraftKings points at 5,900. I don't think Denver is a very good defense, other than Chris Harris. I don't know if they have Bradley Roby, but I'm not targeting it, or I'm not worried about that. And I just got news that all receivers for the Rams are a go, so I even like Goff more now. Phillip Rivers going against the Browns. If you want to have some exposure to Phillip Rivers, I usually only play one lineup for cash, so I'm not going to be on Phillip Rivers if I had to pick a quarterback. He's only 5,900. He was 6,700 last week. That's $800 price difference, and I'm not sure why. The Browns are a very good defense, but Phillip Rivers should have a good game. I don't expect him to be a bust. And the chalk of the week is Jameis Winston going against Atlanta. Like I said, 57 point total. He hasn't played this year. It's been Ryan Fitzpatrick, but we saw a little bit of Jameis Winston in the second half against Chicago. 20 attempts, 16 completions, which is very good. He had touchdown and 2 picks, but going against the Bears, they're the best defense in the league, arguably. I'm not worried about that. Jameis Winston's going to be the chalk this week, going in the Dome against Atlanta, which is a very bad defense, very injury-prone. Like I said, he's going to be chalk this week. Everyone's going to want him in their lineup. I think he has a very high, high floor. A low floor, but I'm expecting him. He could put up a lot of points this week. That's what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. Like I said, I took the chalk last week with Vance McDonald. I think he put up 1.6 points. Like, you don't always got to go for the chalk, but Jameis Winston is in a crush spot against Atlanta. So we'll see Sunday who I decide to go with. I'm probably gonna be going Winston, Goff, or Dalton. Those are my top 3 guys in my opinion. I think if you want to pay up, I think Matt Ryan is in a great spot, and then Ben if you want to go with that. Going down, I don't think I'm gonna be on any of these guys. Russell Wilson, I mean he doesn't have an offensive line. I mean Blake Bortles, Leonard Fournette's out if you want to go with him. He put up 36 against New England, 8 against Tennessee, 28 against the Jets, and then 28 against Kansas City, which is very crazy because I was watching the Jaguars-Chiefs game, and I thought Blake Bortles was having a terrible, terrible game. And then I looked at his fantasy points, he had 28.6. It just shocked me. So, I mean, if you want to go with him, you can. He had 1 TD and 4 interceptions. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't think he had a good game at all, and then but he also threw the ball 61 times for 430 yards, so I guess that's where it came from. And he had a rushing touchdown, I'm pretty sure. So, if you want to go there, you can. Baker Mayfield getting a start against the Chargers defense. I think the Chargers defense is good. Baker Mayfield also. I mean, the score was 12-9, and he put up 22 Draftkings points. I expect this week to be a little more high scoring than 12-9. It's a 46 over/under. I mean, I'm not going to be on Baker Mayfield. Like I said, those are my 3 guys I'm going to be on, which is Jameis Winston, Goff, or Dalton. I got to see which one I'm going to go for on Sunday. Going to running back, I believe 10K, we have Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley is in a great spot, as he is in every week. Todd Gurley is just the best running back, arguably, in the league. I mean, look at his points. 26, 32, 28, 25, 33. It doesn't matter who he goes against. I think he's just locked in to not bust. But then again, you could take him a week and he bust. Denver is in a great defense, but if I'm going to be spending 10K for Todd Gurley. Le'Veon Bell is out. He should be back for the Week 7 bye. He should be reporting to practice. Christian McCaffrey going against Washington. I'd much rather go spend $100 less and go Melvin Gordon against Cleveland. And so I think this is my running back 1 for the week. Cleveland is not a good run defense, and Melvin Gordon's putting up great numbers. He had 22 against Oakland, 34 against San Francisco, 16 against LA. LA's a great run defense. I'm not worried about that. 30 against Buffalo, and then 30 against Kansas City. I expect him to put 28 plus in this matchup against the Browns. The Browns, like I said, have a good run defense. So I'm going to be targeting Melvin Gordon at 8-2. Going down 500, we got James Conner. This should be his last week. I'm not sure. But Le'Veon Bell should be coming back. He crushed last week for us. He killed it, and he was not very high owned, so I do not know why. But Cincinnati's not a good run defense. If you want to go Conner, you can. I don't know if I'm going to go Conner. I mean, it's a good high-scoring game. I might target him, but I think I like Melvin Gordon for my highest paid running back. Joe Mixon with Gio Bernard now, I think is a great play. Last week, he came off injury. He was not expecting to get much touches. I mean, he got 22 and 4 or 22 and 3. Put up 20 DraftKings points. He got a touchdown that game, a receiving touchdown, I'm pretty sure. Going against Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh is a good run defense, so I mean, if you want to go Joe Mixon at 7.5, I don't think he's a bad play. I don't think I'm going to be on him. I might not, but I'll let you guys know Sunday. Ezekiel Elliott at 7K. But the only reason is he's going against the Jaguars' run defense. I mean, his price tag went down $1,300. He was 8.4, 8.3. Now it's 7K, which is his lowest price tag all season. I mean, I think he might get a touchdown here, but going against the Jaguars, and maybe as a flex, if I have 7K left over, maybe I'll use him just because of Zeke Elliott, and he's going to get a lot of touches for the Cowboys because their offense is not it, Chief. So I mean, for the touch he's going to get, if you want to spend 7K on him, I don't mind it, but I don't think he's your running back number 1 for this week. Jordan Howard going against Miami, I'm not going to be on. I mean, I'm not going to say much about him. I'm just not going to be on him. I think there's other places I'd rather target. Leonard Fournette out, which reminds me to go TJ Yeldon going against the Cowboys. Last week, he was very involved in the passing offense. He caught, I'm pretty sure, yeah, he did catch a receiving touchdown the last 2 weeks. He only had 10 rushing attempts against Kansas City. I'm not sure why, but he put up 26 DraftKings points for us, and I like him going against the Cowboys defense. Sean Lee might be out. I'm not sure about that. I got to look for that. But I know they just signed Jamal Charles, I'm pretty sure, because Corey Grant's out for the rest of the year. I don't think Jamal Charles should be taking away much targets from TJ Yeldon or touches from TJ Yeldon. They just got him this week. I mean, I expect him to play, but I think obviously TJ Yeldon's their number one guy going against Dallas. Chris Thompson at 6,100. Devontae Freeman's out. Tampa Bay, again, going against Tampa Bay. If you want to go Tevin Coleman, you can. I don't think I am, just because I feel like I said last week, you just don't know if this guy's going to do good or bad. Going against Carolina, he had a good game. Other than that, no thank you. Ito Smith is a very cheap option that keeps taking touches from him. So with the Atlanta rushing core, I'm just not going to touch any of them. Going down. Did I miss my guy? I did. David Johnson, right here. Here we go. Going against Minnesota. 5,900. David Johnson's not a 5,900 running back. Like you saw last week, he put up 21 DraftKings points. And Josh Rosen, I believe, was giving him touches. They were giving him touches. They were getting involved in the passing game with 2 receptions. Not a lot, but still, I expected to be more this week. He had 18 touches, 55 yards. The only reason you see 21 DraftKings points, he had 2 touchdowns. I think he's their red zone guy. At 5,900, I'm playing David Johnson this week. My 3 running backs I believe I'm going to play this week are Melvin Gordon, David Johnson, and TJ Yeldon. If you want to go Mixon or Connor, you definitely can. But going down, I don't really see anyone I like that much. Yeah, those are going to be my 3 running backs. If you want to go Austin Eckler off a pivot off Melvin Gordon, he's low priced every week, and he's putting up decent numbers every week. He has the same price tag every week. Look at his head. For 4,200, if you want to play him in maybe a GPP, you can. I'm taking Melvin Gordon though as the number 1 guy. So yeah, those are my running backs this week. Let's get into wide receiver. As you see pretty much every week, Antonio Brown is the highest salary wide receiver for the slate. Going against Cincinnati, I believe he had a good game last week. Yes, he did. Going against Atlanta, 6 receptions, 13 targets. He had 2 touchdowns. 8,700, I'm not going to be on him. I think there's lower guys I'd rather go for. Adam Thielen arguably would have been the best wide receiver for fantasy this year. Just look at the targets he's getting. Look at his points. Just look at him. 19.2 DraftKings points was his worst game, and the other games aren't even close to that. The next worst game was 27.5. I had him last week against Philly. He gave me 27.6. I think he's had 100 yards. Yeah, he's had 100 yards receiving in all 5 of his games. And again, going against Arizona, I expect him to be running the ball because I expect him to blow out Arizona. But I expect him. I think he can get 100 yards again, maybe a touchdown if you want to throw that in there. If you're going Jameis Winston, Mike Evans, he's going to be your guy. He's Jameis Winston, or he's the Bucs wide receiver 1. Other than last week, he put up 23 DraftKings points in all of his games, having 30, 23, and 28. And on the one he put up 12 points, he was going against Chicago, which is a great defense. He still got targeted 9 times. So if you're going Jameis Winston, I think he can get 2 touchdowns against Atlanta, having a weak defense. AJ Green going against Pittsburgh. If you want to go Andy Dalton, you can roster AJ Green and Tyler Boyd if you want to stack the Bengals. He had 10 targets last week going against Miami. 112 yards. The 1 week I took him was going against Carolina, and that was his worst week. So I guess maybe if I take AJ Green again this week, he's going to bust. I don't think I'm going to take him at 8K. I think I'd much rather go with people under him. Julio Jones at 7.9. He had a big price drop, 600. He's just, I always said that he was the best receiver in the league, but it was 0 touchdowns this year. He's just not proven it. As tall as he is and as lengthy he is, he should just, when they get in the end zone or when they get in the red zone, they should just run a fade, throw it up to him, and he should be able to come down with it. That's not happening. Pretty sure last year he had troubles in the red zone too, not getting a lot of touchdowns. Could this be the week Julio Jones gets a touchdown? Probably. I mean, I think so. I hope so. I don't know if I'm going to be on him, though. I might. Only at 7-9. 7-7, we got DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's locked for 10-plus targets this week, just like he has in all his other games. 10-plus targets in each game. I have him in my season-long fantasy. He's tearing it up. He put the moves on Dallas last week. It was hilarious. I think he's a great play at 7-7. If you want to go him against Buffalo, you can. Stephon Diggs. Maybe if you want to have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, you can go Stephon Diggs. He took a lot of receptions last week away from Thielen. They gave Stephon Diggs a lot of screens, and he just took off. Keenan Allen. If you want to go Phillip Rivers going against the Browns, I don't think I'm going to be on him. I think he's not having that good of a season. Juju Smith going against Cincinnati. I'm going to start going faster through this. Make the video shorter for you guys. Juju, 7,300. He was chalk last week. I mean, he didn't have a good game. He could have another good one. He could have a good one this week. And then the two Rams wide receivers. I'm surprised Cooper Kupp is not as high priced as them. He's only 6,500, and he's putting up good numbers every week going against Denver. I expect one or at least two of them, to have a very good game this week. If you want to target one of them, just pick one of them, and hopefully your guy goes off. Will Fuller, Emmanuel Sanders, Jarvis Landry. T.Y. Hilton is out. This is another reason I like the Jets defense this week. Calvin Ridley, if you don't like Julio Jones, I mean, Ridley has a big price increase from being 3,700 when I first took him. He had that blow-up game. He's 3,700 and he's like $3K more now. I mean, it's for a reason. He's going off. Like I said, Tyler Boyd, if you have Andy Dalton, he's putting out 20+ in every matchup. He had a bad week last week. You can't always look at the one bad week and expect him to have another one. Deshaun Jackson, if you're going Jameis Winston, I like him at only 5'9". I mean, other than the Pittsburgh game, he's putting up numbers. And fun fact, I rostered him against Pittsburgh, I think it was the showdown slate. That's exactly why he only put up that many points. Demaryius Thomas, Corey Davis. I'm not looking at much of these guys going down. Maybe if you want to go Tyler Lockett at 5,100. He's been a good fantasy receiver this year, putting up a decent amount of points every game. Going against Oakland, I don't mind it. D.D. Westbrook, I think, can have a good game here. If Fournette's out, I'm going to go T.J. Yeldon. I think D.D. is their number one receiver, either him or Cole. If you want to go against Dallas, picking a wide receiver for Jacksonville, you can go T.D. Westbrook. Amari Cooper is only 5,200. He got locked up last week. But week 2, week 4, he had big games. Week 3, week 5, he had bad games. So maybe for the all even weeks, he's going to have a big game. So week 6 coming up, if you want to roster him. Like I said, well, look, week 1, bad game. Week 3, week 5, all odd numbers. He had a bad week. And then the even numbers, 2, 4, he had big games. 6 coming up, if you want to go Amari Cooper. If you're one of those guys, you can definitely do it. Doug Baldwin, I'm not going to be on. I think one of my favorite value wide receivers this week is Mohamed Sanu. Had him last week. Put up 17 Draftkings points. He put up 15+ in the last 3 games. Going against Tampa Bay, I expect it to be a high-scoring game. I like Sanu. Keelan Cole, like I said, if you want to go against Dallas. If you don't want D.D. Westbrook. Going down Kiki. I think he played 2 weeks. Yeah, he has had 2 weeks. He had 15 targets against Indianapolis and 7 with the touchdown against Dallas for 4,600. If you want to have a value wide receiver, either him and Sanu, or if you just want to have one and you don't want to go Sanu, I expect you to go Kiki. But that's basically it down here. And I'm not going to see maybe Godwin if you want to go with this high-scoring game. He had 10 targets against Pittsburgh. He's putting up 13+ in each of his 3 of his last 4 games. He didn't play last week. I think he's playing this week. I don't see a questionable mark next to his name. Going down, that's basically it. Rashard Higgins is out. If you want to go Antonio Callaway, definitely can. Going against the Chargers. Expect the Browns to be down this game and throw the ball. But that's basically it. Going down, I don't see anyone else I like. So let's go over to the tight end. At tight end, At the top of the list, we have Eric Ebron at 5,400, putting up 34 DraftKings points against New England. My showdown slate was killing it for this game, but I didn't trust Ebron because I didn't think he was going to have a good game. And I was killing in the beginning, and then in the second quarter, or the second half, he got like 2 touchdowns. Took me out of the money because he was chalky. It was doing great for me because of the first half. Everyone had him when doing bad, and I didn't have him, so I was doing good. But, I mean, I don't like Eric Ebron at 5,400. I'm not going to be on him. Jordan Reed. I'm surprised Jordan Reed is so high priced. He got 2 targets last week going against New Orleans. I'm not going to be on Jordan Reed at all. Jared Cook is a much better player at home. If you want to spend and look at all his games, then look at his games at home. Like I said, at home he put up 30 plus. If you want to spend $5K for a tight end, if you have that money, definitely go Jared Cook at home. I like that. Jack Doyle's out. Trey Burton, he gets a lot of plays in Chicago. If you want to go him at 4,500, I don't mind it. Kyle Rudolph, I'm not going to be on. David Njoku. Cameron Brate. Jameis Winston coming back. They have a good chemistry. Cameron Brate's been Tampa Bay's guy the last 2 weeks, or week 3 and week 4. I thought O.J. Howard was playing this week. He's questionable, so keep an eye on that. If O.J. Howard's not playing, I would expect you to go Cameron Brate. But if Howard's not playing, don't go Cameron Brate, in my opinion. Vance McDonald was chalk last week. He busted for me. But the other 2 weeks, though, he's been doing very good. He's going against Cincinnati. If you want to go him as a bounce-back week, I don't mind it. C.J. Uzomah going against Pittsburgh. I might go him at 3K. He hasn't had very good weeks. But he had 2 targets last week. He had 43 yards. If he gets more targets this week, I think he definitely pay out the price tag at 3K. Tight end's always weak. I don't really pay up at tight end. I try to go for the mid-range lower guys. So I'm definitely not going to be on any of these guys. So if you want to go Jared Cook, maybe Cameron Brate if O.J. Howard sits. Austin Hooper, I didn't say him. He had a big week last week and a big week 2. I think it's hit or miss with this guy. I'm not going to be on him going against Tampa Bay. If I have the money, if I'm exactly 3.5, let's see. If I'm at 3.5 left over, I'd probably go O.J. Howard or Vance McDonald or Uzomah. I'm not going to be on Austin Howard. The flex position we already went over, and then defenses to close it out. The Vikings at 3-8 going against Arizona. I think they're in a great matchup. If you have 3.8 to spend on the Vikings, I expect them to have a good week. Jaguars going against Dallas. Dallas sucks. Jaguars have a good defense. If you want to go them, put on 5+ in each of their matchups. The Texans, I have them being my number 1 defense going against Buffalo. Or not being my number 1 defense, but being like a underrated defense. Because I feel like most people, if you're paying up at defense, you're going to go Vikings, Jaguars, or even the Bears. I have the Texans in my. I just picked up the Texans in my season long to start this week. I'm going to be on them for obviously my season long. I don't know if I'm going to go them for my DFS on Sunday. If you want to go Bears, they're obviously the best defense in the league, in my opinion. Going against Miami. Miami's not good. They look at their numbers every week. They're putting up as much numbers as some of your wide receivers. Or most of your wide receivers. So I think the Bears actually are in a great spot. I didn't even know about that. I might be on the Bears this week going against Miami. Coming off a bye. They are away, but I think I like the Bears this week. But the defense I've been talking about is the Jets. I like the Jets this week going against Indianapolis. Indianapolis does not have T.Y. Hilton. If you want to spend $2,900 on a defense, I think the Jets are your play. If I'll give you guys a cheap defensive play. $2,600. The Browns are at home. I don't like the matchup against the Chargers, but it's not bad. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. If you want to spend $2,900, or if you have the money, if you don't have the money for defense, you can go $2,600 against with the Browns. The Dolphins. I'm not going to be on the Dolphins. Chicago had a big week last week. I don't expect that. I expect them to have another good week this week against Miami. Maybe the Titans. I don't understand why the Titans are so low priced. They've been doing good every week. Going against Baltimore at home, the Titans are a very good cheap option. And that's basically it for me. Maybe the Raiders all the way down here going against Seattle. I expect them to maybe get a couple sacks, but I'm not going to be on them. My defenses I like are maybe the Titans, the Jets, the Bears, and then obviously these top teams are good defenses since they're priced so high. That's going to be it for this week. If you guys have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter at ElevateDFS. I've been non-active. I haven't been active the last couple days. I've been locking into the slate. I want to have a big week, a big day tomorrow for this NFL slate. If you have any questions, hit me up there. I'm also posting this on my new channel or my other channel, so I don't have to have two different channels. So don't forget to subscribe on this channel if you haven't already. Like the video, I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. Let's have a big week this week.